Welcome to Fab Talk with Trish M, prophet, pastor, teacher, CEO of Trish M Enterprises, author, wife, mother, and your podcast host. If you're ready for the word, the way, and the truth, then this podcast is for you. Get ready for another level in the things of God, motivation, inspiration, and empowerment that's going to catapult you to new dimensions. Hold on tight. It's time for Fab Talk with your girl, Trish M. Speak Lord Prophetic Seminar. Anointed, powerful, refreshing, prophetic training, prophetic development, prophetic activations. Get empowered to use your gift like never before. When God speaks, you'll know. Interpretations, symbolism, prophetic understanding. Register today at www.mocinow.com/SL Seminar. October 19th, 10 to 2 p.m. at Mind of Christ International Church. It's on. For virtual tickets, email us at info@mindofchristint.com. That's info@mindofchristint.com. Don't get left out. Get registered today at www.mocinow.com/SL Seminar. Hello, hello, hello. Happy fabulous day to you. I pray everyone is having an amazing day. Hey, fabulous people. How you doing? Okay, my best of honest. How you doing? How you doing? And you, and you, and you. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Fab Talk with your girl Trish M. You could have been anywhere in the entire world doing almost anything, but God saw fit for you to tune in with me on today. And I'm super excited. This is Fab Talk, y'all. Y'all know I give you the word, the way, and the truth. The real deal, Holyfield, the good of the hood. I give you whatever the Lord has given me, okay? And I pray that whatever I impart in you, that it does change your life, that it empowers you, it strengthens you, it motivates you, it challenges you to grow somewhere, to be better, right? To walk in purpose and live the life that God is destined for you to live. Do your girl a favor, share the broadcast, start a watch party, tag your girl from around the way and say, hey, Trisha, she's back live and in person. Okay. I'm super excited. Y'all see me, y'all. Okay, let me make sure y'all see me. Circle of fabulous women. Where y'all at? Look at here, look at here. Okay, it's always opposite. So we got the circle of fabulous women. Be bold, be fierce, be fabulous. Hey, listen, it's on and popping. For those of you who don't know, all right, we got the circle of fabulous women sip and chat on tonight. And it is going to be awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It starts at 7 p.m. Central. You can actually register. I think registration is still open for the sip and chat. And I want to make sure that I give you guys the right address. It's www.mocinow.com /CFW chat. And so I want to make sure that you guys have that info, have the details. Y'all come on in, y'all sip and chat with us. What's going to happen is we're going to have our little teas or cappuccinos or coffee, whatever it is. And we're going to be live on our Zoom call, sipping and chatting. And matter of fact, it's thefabwoman.com /CFW chat. So thefabwoman.com / CFW chat. I'm getting confused. I'm trying to look at my shirt, girl. I love the color, the pink. It's vibrant, it's cool, it's fabulous. Okay. And we're all going to be rocking our pink shirts. So if you have not gotten a chance to register to have a whole conversation, y'all say whole conversation with your girl, Trish M. Okay. We're going to be talking about some good stuff on tonight. See here, I'm already sipping. All right. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready. I'm super excited. So that's church announcements. Y'all know I still got my prophetic stuff going on. I'm training and developing prophetic mouthpieces. Check that out at mocinow.com /SL seminar. October. It's going to be powerful. All right. So let's get into it. Okay. So that's your church announcements for today. Shout out to my MOCI church family. Love y'all. With my husband, senior pastor Derek Marset, overseeing. I'm just super excited about what God is doing with us. If you don't have a church home, visit us on Sundays at 11 a.m., 1633 Kent Derry Road, live and in person, challenging you, pushing you, charging you, stirring you up. We're a prophetic church. We speak the oracles of God. Okay. Whatever the Lord is saying, that's what we're going to say. I love it though. Check us out. MOCInow.com, mindofchristint.com. You can check us out and learn more there. Follow us on social media, Mind of Christ International Church, and come and follow us. All right, so let's get into it. We are on part two of listening to understand. Okay, let's do a quick recap because we got to get the latter part of what we talked about. We talked about hearing versus listening. When you hear something, you just know there's some noise, but because you're not listening, you're not really paying attention to what is being said. And so hearing is the physical act, while listening involves actively processing and understanding. We talked about listening to understand. The goal is to grasp the speaker's perspective, their emotions, their intentions. We talked about active listening techniques like focusing on the speaker and not your phone, not the TV, making eye contact, reflective listening, reflect on what you heard. This is what I hear you saying. This is what I think you're saying. Speak it back to them so they know that you're listening with the intent of understanding. You're asking clarifying questions just to clarify. You want it to make sense in your head so that you're avoiding making assumptions, accusations, and judgments. Okay. Have you ever been trying to talk to someone and you begin to be accusatory and just assume things because in your head you got it all figured out? Okay. We're learning to have emotional intelligence, and I'm excited about that. I love this scripture, Proverbs 18:2. It says, "Fools find pleasure." Come on, y'all, pleasure in fools find no pleasure. Say no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions. And I don't know about you, but I ain't trying to be no fool. Like, I'm trying to grow somewhere. I'm trying to be better. We also talked about being empathetic. Is empathy is crucial in listening to understand. You want to listen, understand their perspective, understand their emotions, understand the why, understand that they're not you and they might not think like you, sound like you, respond like you. And so you want to understand the why behind what they're doing. Okay. That's listening with empathy. We got the scriptures, Romans 12:15. Rejoice with those who rejoice. That and mourn with those who mourn. That's being empathetic. And today, all right, this is part two. This is where part two actually begins. I just gave you a quick review of where we left off. And so the sixth thing in listening to understand, you want to have mindful listening, meaning that you must be present in the moment. Like, you can't be scatterbrained. You can't be thinking about what's next or what you got to do later or what somebody said. You have to be mindful. You have to be in the moment. Mindful listening involves staying focused on the current conversation and not letting the mind wander to what you'll say next or to unrelated thoughts, right? Because If we're listening to understand, then we can't be distracted. We talked about phones, we talked about TV, but distracted means that also is tuned that person out, and they're trying to share their heart. They're trying to tell you something significant, and you've actually tuned them out. Oh, the disrespect. Have you ever tune somebody out when they're trying to have a whole conversation? Y'all say whole conversation. Whole conversation. They're trying to have a whole conversation with you, and you have tuned them out. That's a no-no. Not when we're trying to be better, not when we're trying to listen, to understand. We can't be tuning people out. Okay. That's a no-go. Where do I get that from? I'm so glad you asked. Proverbs 4:20 through 21. It says, My son, pay attention to what I say. Turn your ear to my words. Do not let them out of your sight and keep them within your heart. See, God knows the power of being attentive. That people want when they're sharing hearts, they're sharing things, they're sharing word, they're sharing truth, they're sharing that whatever it is, they want your attention, or else they feel like you just don't care, right? And that's selfish. And so we have to make sure that we're not past giving them making them feel like we're selfish and only about us. We're mindful of others outside of us, right? And so if we're mindful of people outside of us, then we got to show it. We got to act like that is, if it's not centered around you, not being talked about what you want to do, what you like, what you don't like, then you got to make sure that you're attentive to what somebody else like, won't dislike. It can't just be about you. So that's being mindful, being a mindful listener. The seventh thing is about body language and nonverbal cues. I had to get that out. Like my husband be like, you ain't gotta say no, your face say it all. I be like, what my face? What, how am I looking? I don't even realize how I'm looking. Right? And then we're listening to understand. We got to watch our body language. We got to watch our facial gestures, because if we're looking at somebody like they this big, looking at somebody like they stupid, that is not being mindful. That is not listening to understand. That's, remember, that goes back to being judgmental, being accusatory, making assumptions. So when you give off the wrong body language, or those nonverbal cues, they're going to interpret that you really don't care. Like you're just there. Nonverbal communication, such as nodding, facial expressions, and posture, can demonstrate active listening. Now, your facial expression, if it's like or duck lips, ladies, y'all know what I mean. Like, and then you turn your head, you roll your eyes. You know the little saying when we was growing up, roll your eyes, stop your feet. This one, like, there you go, baby. But anyway, when you start doing all of that, it sends the wrong impression. Are you really in it? We want to, when we're listening to understand, we want to make sure that we're trying to encourage the person to continue, because otherwise they're going to disengage. They're not going to like what they're getting. It's going to cause an argument to come up. It's going to cause frustration in the room, friction in the room. And so you're gonna lose them, right? They may tolerate your little neck roll and your eye roll and mm, and your duck lips and you they may tolerate it for a minute, but then if you just keep doing it, it's gonna be like, okay, I just can't talk to you. You just, whatever. You don't want to have the whatever mentality, because that's not listening to understand. Where do I get this from? Proverbs 15 and 30. I love Proverbs. Proverbs gives us so much wisdom and direction and clarity, right? There's a word for anything, because there is nothing new under the sun, right? The word of God can redirect us if we allow it. And so in Proverbs 15 and 30, it says, light in a messenger's eyes brings joy to the heart, and good news gives health to the bones. And so the person that is that you're talking to or talking with, they want to see light. They want to see love in your eyes. And they don't want to see all that extra, right? Because it discourages them from talking to you. It discourages them from sharing their heart with you. And so the Bible even tells us, give light and love, okay? Give good news. Don't be all extra. I think men think that women are more extra, but men can do be that way sometimes too. Okay. Okay. The next thing is we want to practice um, patience and silence. There is value of silence in a conversation. If you got to give them room to talk, sometimes the most effective way to understand a person is to allow pauses, giving the speaker time to express their thoughts fully. Let them get all of their words out before the interjection comes, before the assumption comes. Because, technically, we're trying to get rid of the assumption, the judgmental, the accusations, all of that. We're trying to be better. So all of that doesn't come in. So you want to give them time to fully express their thoughts. And this also gives the listener time to process what's been said. So it gives them time to get it out, to express everything that they want. But this also, because you're quiet, it gives you time to process what they're saying, like to really think about it. Where do we get that from? There's a word for that too, honey. Yes, girl, I got you. Ecclesiastes 7, I'm sorry, 3 and verse 7. It says there, in Ecclesiastes, it tells us there is a time and a season for everything, right? And in this particular verse, it's saying there is a time to be silent and a time to speak. There's a time to be silent, meaning Ecclesiastes is telling us, hush your mouth. Okay, just hush. Listen to what the person is trying to say. Do you understand the words that are coming out of their mouth? Like, just be quiet. So, there is a time to speak, there is a time to be silent, but we have to practice them both. You can't always get your point across. You can't always let it rip because of people loud going wild and bananas, like going off because you can assume something or whatever it is. You have to make sure that you are maintaining self-control, because self-control gives us emotional intelligence. Okay. Um, Listen, we're almost there, okay? The next thing, number 9, we're going to avoid the urge to fix or advise. Oh my gosh, for some this can be very, very hard because we like having control, or we like being a fixer, or we like telling people what to do. If that's you, you already know. Okay, this is for you, right? Oftentimes when people listen to respond, they focus on providing solutions, they focus on providing advice, they focus on their own whatever, like, and lose sight of you. So sometimes we have to understand that sometimes people just want to be heard and understood rather than immediately being given solutions. Like, they don't want you to fix it, they just want you to listen. They don't want you to tell them the A, B, C, D, E, F, G's. They just want you to listen to them as they go from A to Z, right? And sometimes that's necessary. Now, if you got a friend that's all they do is throw up on you constantly and they can't get that personal advice, or a person that's like that, yeah, I get that, how you so over it, right? But you also got to get how sometimes you could be that constant. Oh, I got a resolution. I got a solution. Let me tell you how to fix your. Let me tell you how to get your life. And not really giving them that space, because a lot of time the therapeutic part of the conversation for them is just getting it out. They just want to get it out. They just want to talk it out. They just want to figure it out. And by the time they've dumped it out loud, they kind of hear themselves, right? And like, man, wow, I sound kind of, oh man, wow. Well, I could just, oh man. And sometimes just them getting it out, they can figure it out for themselves, right? So you just need to be that ear, that shoulder to cry on, that heart that they want to share or connect with. You just get past you, because this moment is not about you. It's about you having emotional intelligence. It's about you listening to understand so that you can help this person grow somewhere in the end. Okay. Um, and where do I get that from? You know, there's a word for everything, girl. That's a word for everything. Job 2, verse 13. And well, what does Job 2, verse 13 say? I'm glad you asked. It says, then they sat on the ground with him, meaning Job, who had gone through so much. We know that Job had pretty much lost everything. Um, then they, as in his friends, they sat on the ground with him for 7 days and 7 nights. Wow. No one said a word to him because they saw how great his suffering was. Some people just need you to just be there. Like, they don't need your extra, they don't need your resolutions. They don't need nothing. They just need you to be there. They don't need, whether they go off, whether they say absolutely nothing, whether they just sit and look. And some people just need you to be there. Just be there. You don't have to say anything. And if they say something, just let them talk. His friends sat on the ground with him. Can you imagine this? For 7 days and 7 nights. We know that 7 is the number of completion. On the 8th day was in the beginning. They had to get their little self up. Okay. They had to get up. All right. But for 7 days and 7 nights, they sat with Job as he went through the hardest, most horrific time of his life. They just sat there and they listened and they watched him. Right. And so that's what people need a lot of times. And the last thing, I want to give you the benefits, the broader benefits of listening to understand. When you listen to understand and you practice emotional intelligence, let me tell you what you're doing. Okay. When you listen to understand and you practice emotional intelligence, you are building trust. They are trusting you. Um, you're strengthening the relationship that you guys have, whomever it is, man, woman, boy, girl. You're reducing conflict because they're seeing that they can talk to you. You're fostering an environment of respect and collaboration, like they respect you because you hear them. Not only do you hear them, you see them. Not only do you see them, but you help them because you've learned how to respond. You've learned how to be better when there's a conversation. Okay. Um, yeah. And where do I get that from? Let's talk about it. Proverbs 25 and 11. A word aptly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver. So if you speak with haste, if you speak like with no intelligence, it's like apples of gold, but it's put in silver. Like, it could have been so yummy. It could have been perfect, but it's the way you said it. It's when you said it. It's how you said it. It's the immaturity in how you said it. That can mess up somebody's whole world. They need you in that moment, or y'all need to have this conversation. Can you have a mature conversation that can change you guys' life and help you to be better? That's a say loud moment. That's all I got, y'all. That's part 2 of listening to understand. I pray that this really, really helped give you some insight on how to be a better communicator. And being a better communicator, it comes with being a better listener, because listening is a huge part of communicating. You have to be able to hear, but you also have to be able to speak intelligently. And you have to realize that it's not just about you, it's bigger than you. And people are trusting you with whatever it is that they got, and or need you with whatever in that moment to have an adult conversation without the neck raw, without the lips popping, without the duck lips, without the accusations, without the assumptions. My prayer is that we all get better, because none of us are perfect in this area, but through Christ we can do all things. All right. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Please tag someone, share this again if you've not done that already. I'll be back next week with another powerful word. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please subscribe, rate, review. If you give us a 5-star review, it'll help me reach more people around the world just by giving them the word of God. And breaking the bread of life with them. And so please subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. I'm so excited about what God is doing, and He just really wants us all to be better, and I'm here for it. All right, guys, I love you so much, and I appreciate you again for tuning in. I will be back on next week, and if y'all are sipping and chatting with me tonight, I'm so excited. Circle of Fabulous Women, y'all. We ready. All right, love y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Fab Talk with Trish M. Do your girl a favor. Share this broadcast on all your social media platforms. Invite a friend to tune in. Help this podcast reach the nation. We all need Jesus, y'all. You sharing this broadcast helps me to reach the masses. If I'm blessing you, then bless your girl back. Share the broadcast. Give me a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. I got work to do for the King, and I need your help. I appreciate you tuning in to this segment. I'm looking forward to rocking with you on the next episode of Fab Talk with your girl, Trish M.